Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to see you join us for this public expose. So let's start the presentation. Then at the end, we'll have a Q&A with all of you. So let me just click. So we have two parts of the presentation, which I guess you already downloaded from the system. The first part, of course, a little bit about our business in Indonesia, about Multi Bintang Indonesia, and especially for those of you that are new to our business. And second, a little bit in terms of how we're performing in 2023 and against our strategy. And I also have Jessica with me today and Dana that will also explain a little bit about our business. So moving on. Yeah, okay. So as you know, our business, we're the largest brewer in Indonesia. We have our headquarters here in Jakarta, where we are speaking from now. And one of our breweries is in Tangerang, and the second brewery is in the area of Mojokerto in Sampang Agun. And next to that one, we also have TPI, who produces our non-alcoholic portfolio there. So we have 3 production facilities in Indonesia with 424 employees and 8 leading brands in our portfolio. In terms of the composition of our business, Heineken International owns 89.32% of the shares, and the rest is publicly owned. So moving on. Well, Multi Bintang Indonesia already celebrating 92 years in the market. It was the first brewery outside of the Netherlands from Heineken, and a long history of innovation and growing in this market. So we're very proud of all the products that we have given to our consumers. And as you have noticed, and we will talk later on, is we have really ramped up the innovation part of our business. And this year we will talk a little bit more about the latest innovations that we had. 2 years ago, we launched Bintang Crystal, the first sessionable beer in Indonesia. And then we also have this year Bintang and Gumera, our first flavored beer in Indonesia. And also we just launched Tiger Soju, which is the first or the third brand in our portfolio, which has been very well received by the consumers. And then Jessica will talk a little bit about that one. So how does our portfolio look now? So we have a full portfolio of alcoholic beverages, of course, led by the Heineken brand in the premium segment, and still the leading premium brand in Indonesia. Bintang, of course, the iconic beer Bintang from Indonesia, which has gone through a big transformation in the brand that Jessica will also talk about in the last couple of years. And then we launched Bintang Crystal. And as I mentioned, we move into flavors as well, which is something that consumers are moving into that part of segmentation of alcoholic products. And we launched Gumera and Soju. And we also have, of course, our Radler, 2% in terms of low alcohol beverages. And in our non-alcoholic portfolio, we have our Bintang 00, which already been in the market for quite a long time. And we also have our soft drinks, Green Sans. So very balanced portfolio, and we continue to innovate to make sure that we cater for the preference and need of our consumers in Indonesia. Before I go into, we go into a little bit about the business. We're also happy to say that we've been awarded and recognized of some of the things that the team in our business, all the great work they have done. The first one is a first for MBI. So this is the first year that we are certified as as the best place to work. So it's really proud to see that that this has come, because we have always put a lot of effort to make sure that our people provide the best environment for them to thrive and develop as well. We also have CSR awards on Mojokerto that Dana will later talk about all our initiatives that we're doing there. And also super happy to see in terms of, as you know, Heineken and Multi Bintang, always we hack ourselves for the quality of our products. So we had two of very prestigious Mon Selection in terms of the quality awards. We had a gold medal for Bintang Crystal, and Bintang is still performing very well in terms of these awards. And we have a silver medal for Bintang Pilsner as well. So super happy, and our supply chain team and our brewery teams to making so high quality products. And internally, we also, of course, are part of Heineken, and we have over 70 operations around the world. And Heineken does these awards in terms of also the Heineken brand. And we're very happy to have won also the Heineken Premiumization Quality Award by the great job done by our Heineken team, which Jessica will talk us a little bit about what we're doing with the Heineken brand in Indonesia over the last year or so. So super happy to share with you some of the awards and recognitions that the business has received this year. So moving on a little bit in terms of our business. So, well, you all know in terms of how the impact the COVID-19 pandemic had on our business in 2020, with a decline of over close to 50% in our net sales and 76% in our net profit. And of course, the first goal for us was to safeguard our business and start the recovery back to 2019 level. We see great progress towards that recovery. These are the numbers, of course, until 2022, and then later we will see a little bit more in terms of how we going forward. But the tracking good progress against recovery in a market that, of course, is still not fully recovered, especially in the tourist areas. As you know, Bali is a big part of our business. We have a dominant presence in the island, and the tourism recovery is still nowhere near 2019 levels. We were expecting this year that the recovery of the tourism there will be higher, but it isn't. So just to give you some snips of information that we get, in the last 3 months until October, the percentage of tourists versus 2019 is an average of 64% only. So it's still quite far from 2019 level. That's one. Number two is also the mix of tourists. In the past, number one was Australians and number two were Chinese. And of course, those two types of tourists like beer and partying, and the mix has become different. So Australians have come back to number one, although not in the same numbers as before yet. But now number two is Indians, for example, that do not drink that much beer, and they drink much more high alcohol spirits. So the mix of tourists is also different. That affects also in terms of the recovery, in terms of that. But there's still a lot of progress there in terms of the recovery, and we are looking forward to see the continuation of tourism recovery in Bali and the rest of Indonesia. So to give you also a little bit of performance highlights that you also saw in terms of the release of our results up to Q3 year to date, our net revenue is 7% higher versus last year. This has been driven by a good mix in our portfolio, and also by the carryover of the price increases that we did in 2022. The volume performance in terms of this year has been a challenging year, with the economy, with the disposable income of consumers impacted, and we're seeing this across our industry, but also across many other FMCGs and other industries in Indonesia, as you know. But very happy to see that despite the slowdown in the market, we've been able to increase our financials in a healthy way. Our gross profit 5% versus last year. Operating profit also 5% versus last year. We have gone since the last few years with a very rigorous cost discipline, making sure that we protect our bottom line and profitability of the business. And operating profit margin is slightly down versus last year, but at a very healthy, still 39% of revenue. So despite the challenges of this year, which we were expecting, I guess, as you know, as investors know, most companies in Indonesia were expecting a much better year because 2022 was a good year for most industries, and certainly for us, we were growing very, very strongly. Despite that challenging in the market with that slowdown, we have been able to deliver good and strong financial results as well as a result of all the things that we have implemented in the last few years in our business. Before I pass the mic to Jessica, just a little bit in terms of what we do in terms of our strategy for our products. So what we call it is shaping the future of beer and beyond. Beyond beer is not necessarily only beer products, but also beyond beer. For example, the flavor portfolio that we're talking about. And of course, it's all about the hearts of winning the hearts of our consumers and customers. Everything we do in our business is catered toward our consumers and our customers. In terms of portfolio innovation, we will show you about the continuous drive to premiumize in the market, but at the scale with the Heineken brand, of course, leading by the Heineken brand, and great activations and initiatives that the team has done that has have a very positive impact on the brand. And in terms of Bintang, as you know, we've been going over a couple of years already to refreshing the brand, rejuvenating the brand, making sure that is still a brand for the younger generation of consumers and continues to be the favorite beer in Indonesia. And we're expanding the portfolio, as I mentioned before, in terms of the big category with the product innovation, first with Bintang Anggumera. Anggumera, as you know, is a category that is growing quite fast in Indonesia. And but flavor beer, we are one of the pioneers here in Indonesia at the scale, and it's been very, very well received by consumers and customers as well. The third brand that we haven't had 3 brands in the portfolio, I think, for a long time. So we have brought the Tiger brand, but instead of bringing the mother brand, we brought the Tiger brand with the soju variant. Soju, as you know, is a category that is growing tremendously across Asia Pacific and other regions in the world. And the Tiger brand is a leading brand from Heineken, from the Heineken group as well. So we made the decision not to bring the mother brand here first, but bring the Tiger Soju, and it seems to be something that is going very well. And Jessica will talk about it. And then later I will come back and talk a little bit about route to consumer, because you can have the good, very nice portfolio, but you need to make sure that it reaches the customers and the consumers, and making sure that we are available everywhere. So I will share with you a little bit of what we're doing in terms of that. So without further ado, I pass to our marketing director, Jessica, that will talk a little bit more about portfolio and innovation.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica. I think this is the first time I'm in the public expose, but very happy to share actually about our brands and where is it actually progressing as well. So like Rene mentioned, actually the first one that we have is about driving premiumization at scale with Heineken. And we start the year off with a very good start, especially after winning our internal award, which is actually very prestigious. But so we continue to ride on that momentum with what we were planning to drive premiumization at scale. So we were focusing on a couple of focus cities where actually there's the majority of the trending coming from. But at the same time, also we see the potential to also making sure that the consumers really appreciate what quality means and how to bring it to life via experience, via our communication, via all the other stuff as well. So, okay, I need to move this one. So the first one is actually bringing so we have this in multiple different cities and bringing experience to life to our consumers. But what is exciting from this year is actually celebrating our 150th anniversary. So we call it actually 150 years of good times. So with that this one, I will share in a bit further actually what we were doing in Jakarta. It's called a destination good time. But we also continue the momentum throughout until the end of the year by bringing what we call 150 nights in all the different cities in Indonesia. So let's watch the first one. Okay, so this one is actually of 10 days of very immersive experience that took place in Ashta, right in the center of Jakarta. So we brought what's called a destination good time, really taking the consumers into the journey of what was Heineken in the past, but also what is actually happening in the future, how all the different interpretation is coming across all across the world as well for the Heineken brand. So our celebration will continue until end of the year for the Heineken 150. Then moving into the Heineken, to the Bintang brand. So as you know, Bintang is the iconic beer brand of Indonesia. It has been a favorite since 1952. So we celebrate the anniversary last year, but also we want to continue to ride on the momentum. And what we have been doing is actually refreshing the brand. And because of course the brand that has been here for years, meaning that we need to make sure we are relevant to the consumers. So we introduce what's called a Bintang Berbeda Bersama, and then we put another spin into this one, what's called a Tanpa Syarat dan Ketentuan. So this campaign will continue all the way up until next year as well. But what was interesting is actually celebrating it during the Independence Day, where actually we ask consumers to tell us, how do you celebrate? And even though you're still Indonesian, maybe there are some different culture that we adopt that actually make us still feel accepted. So then the second part is, and the second part is actually bringing experience to life, and we experience it into two parts. So we sponsored what's called the With the Fest Festival and also Pesta Pora, and this one we bring the concept of the Pasar Malam Bintang. So let's watch the video, then I'll talk about it. Like this. Oh, the video. Sorry, we're having technical difficulty. Just a bit. The video behind. Satu yang ke belakang. No, not this one, the previous slide. Huh? Sorry about that, but happy if you want to check out the Bintang Instagram page, so you can also watch the video over there. But that one is actually quite very interesting experience for our consumers because they get to experience all the different kind of portfolio, but also embracing also what kind of different occasions or moment that they can enjoy all the different variety of Bintang. What is exciting from the Bintang brand is also, like Rene mentioned, we launched Bintang Anggur Merah in the middle of this year. And this whole purpose is really to expand the beer category with an innovation. This comes from a consumer insight that actually, even though consumer like the beer category, but they also sometimes also prefer a more flavored or sweetened taste as well. This is the reason we are launching the Bintang Anggur Merah. So I'll try to play the video and hopefully we get the sound this time. Eh? Okay, that is a quick one. But basically, Bintang Anggur Merah come with a new taste, with a very exciting and cool grape flavor, red grape. So, like Rene mentioned, actually, this has been positively received by the consumers. It is now available nationwide as well in the pint 330, but also the big bottle of 620 as well. So, there will be more coming next year from Bintang Anggur Merah, and hopefully, this for us is about refreshing the beer category for our consumers in Indonesia as well. Now, coming into the next one, this is actually our new brand into the portfolio, which is called Tiger Soju. This one. Okay, hold on. So let me pause over here first. So as mentioned earlier, actually Tiger Soju is born in Indonesia about this third quarter, actually in August 2023, we are actually the third market worldwide to have the Tiger Soju after Vietnam and also Singapore as well. The consumer insight coming from this is that actually people love actually the taste of beer, but they're also looking for the flavor taste, which actually we bring through the soju flavored in two versions, which is a gutsy grape and also punchy peach. So the whole proposition about bringing the taste, but also via the Tiger brand, which is actually one of the big global brand worldwide. It is available in more than 60 countries. Is bringing that credential across also to Indonesia as well. And our ambassador G Dragon is also widely known as well. And this is actually the one that is giving the bold twist that the Tiger brand can bring to delight consumers in Indonesia. So without further ado, let me share a little bit on here and hopefully we can check in on the sound as well. Let me Yeah, so in all, 2023 has been exciting year for us for all our different portfolio. With this in mind, actually, what we want to do is really to win the hearts of our consumers and customers by making sure that we are providing the right taste profile for them that they can enjoy at the different moments in time and at different moments with their friends, with their close ones, and so forth. At the same time, also making sure that we bring and refresh the beer category itself through not only communication but how we bring the experience to life via different events, activation, but also at the same time, how do we connect with the different consumers as well? So we are delighted to have the two innovation of Bintang Merah and Tiger Soju to complete our overall portfolio, and we believe that this actually is making the year solid and take us further in the future for 2024. So I'll pass back again to Renee, who will share the next part.
Thank you, Jess. So as I mentioned before, great on the portfolio. We're very happy with what how our portfolio is shaping in our business, but it doesn't work without the right route to consumer. And we are making a lot of effort to make sure that we really transform that part of our business as well. So the first thing that we've been doing is increasing our availability. So that means our distribution power and expanding our distribution throughout Indonesia. So for that, we are also getting more and more data in the market. So we're conducting trade census across Indonesia to make sure that that we really understand what the universe is out there and our products are available and visible over there. So distribution increase in our for all our portfolio is a key for our strategy to continue our growth in Indonesia. Number two is the excellence in the execution in the point of sale. And for that, we need to continue driving the activation of the outlets to make sure the product is available, is visible, the right touch points as well in terms of point of sale materials, but also something that we call the hero SKUs. The hero SKU in Heineken for us is the SKUs of our brands that must be in each particular outlet of each particular channel. So depending on the channel, depending on the particular type of outlet, is the type of SKU that must be present. That doesn't mean the other SKUs are not present, but this one has to be always available. And that because those are the most sold SKUs in that particular channel and outlet. So that drives a lot of the volume per outlet increase in our business. So we're doing a lot of effort to increase the number of hero SKUs, percentage in number of outlets, and the which we call penetration, and we're seeing a great improvement on that. Number three is of course, we need to make sure that we continue being the preferred customer for all the preferred supplier for all our customers. We continue doing that through frequent surveys and making sure we have the right support and the different tools that we give to the customers in order how to order as well. So which takes me to the third part in terms of the capture of the transactions. So we scaling up the digital touch points that we can do also to make sure that our customers take orders and are in contact with our sales force or our distributor sales force, as well as capturing all the data and making sure that we have the loyalty features for them to be supportive of us. So a lot of transformation in the route to consumer in our business, but we're very happy with the results that we are seeing, which of course translate into better performance for our portfolio. The next part I'm going to talk about in these changes. Give me a second. It's not changing. So change the slides. Yeah. Then it's a little bit about, of course, and we talked about this last year, and you've seen also in our report to the stock exchange in terms of what we call fund the growth and fuel the profit. which of course is about funding the growth of our business, making sure that we have enough resources to put behind our brands. So the first one is, of course, is continue to simplify and right size the cost base. So we do a lot of projects to simplify our core business processes, and also to try to maximize the efficiency, the productivity, and effectiveness of all of them, and so across different functions in the organization. Number two is about reallocating commercial resources. Of course, resources are finite, and we need to make sure that we put our resources where we get the highest return for our investment. So we do this constantly. We have sub-function that reports to sales, which we call revenue margin growth, and that is full of is a group of highly skilled and experienced and smart people that look at all the allocation of resources and how we can maximize that equation all the time, depending on how the market is performing and depending on the initiatives that we have and what we want to drive in terms of our brands. To give you an example, for example, is also the allocation of resources between an alcoholic and non-alcoholic portfolio. When for example, this year in a market where the non-alcoholic portfolio is declining faster than actually the alcoholic portfolio is growing and the non-alcoholic portfolio is declining. That means we also allocate resources and making sure that we put the resources where we're going to get a better return of investment, and that has worked very well in terms of our alcoholic portfolio, and it's seen that we are performing the competition in this part as well. And in terms of improving capital efficiency, of course, is optimizing our working capital and manage of our capital expenditure. The best way to be, of course, with good governance and making sure that we are best in class in this as well. So this is super essential for us to make sure that we continue investing the right amount of resources in the right place on our business. And then now we'll pass up to Dana to talk to us a little bit about our sustainability agenda and our road in our sustainability strategy that we, as you know, we call Brew a Better World, which has three elements: environmental, responsible, and social. This is something that we have made great strides in the last few years as we continue on a journey to meet the global targets of Heineken, and also the targets that we set in Indonesia of becoming a much more sustainable company in the future. Dana.
Great. Thank you, Renee, and nice to be with you all this afternoon. As Renee said, sustainability remains core to our business. What you see on the slide is our Brew a Better World strategy, and this breaks up into three different areas: environmental, social, and responsible. We'll talk a bit about what's going on in each of these three areas in the coming slides. Important to note that these are ongoing commitments that we have, and so we're in the middle of a multi-year journey, and we're excited to share some of the results to date, but of course, much more will be published when we publish our 2023 sustainability report in Q2 of next year. When we talk about our Brew a Better World journey, it would be remiss if we didn't touch on our renewable energy strategy. And what you see here is our roadmap to get to 100% renewable in our production by 2025. We've made great strides in the last 3 years by implementing our biomass plants in both Sampanagan Brewery and Tangerang Brewery. Some of you might remember that we closed the year last year by making our Tangerang biomass facility operational. That was back in December of 2022. So when you see the 32% to close out 2022, that takes into account that the biomass plant had only became operational in December of that calendar year. So when we share our numbers for 23 and beyond, you'll see the full effect of biomass coming into play, and those numbers will continue to grow. We're also in the process of installing solar rooftops in both breweries, both production sites, and those will become operational in Q1 of 2023. Therefore, you see by the time we get to 2024, we're estimating to be around 73% when it comes to renewable energy, made up of those two elements, the solar rooftop and the biomass plants in both breweries. To get to 2025, we're currently in conversations with PLN on how to close our gap to get us to that 100% target ambition. And that is something we're discussing in terms of IREX today, but we will continue these conversations and keep everyone updated as our plans to reach 100% are solidified, hopefully by the end of this year. Moving on, as we shared on a few slides back, we look at our Brew a Better World strategy in 3 different pillars. We've highlighted just a few of some of the activities and programs that we have to serve, to work against or to work in order to serve and obtain our objectives. For example, we have initiatives that both help us protect the environment, but also play a role in making the communities in which we operate a better place to live. This manifests in many different ways, including working towards healthy watersheds and maximizing circularities, as well as overall social impact to the communities in which we operate. While I'd like to touch on one specific example today, we have a lot more information available on our website and in our sustainability report that goes into depth on all of these different partnerships. For us, it's crucial to find the right partners who can help us achieve our objectives. And one such partner we've had great success with in Mojokerto is our partner Wihasta. They help us manage over 3,000 waste banks in the Mojokerto area. And why this is such a big initiative for us, as well as for the community, it helps us to ensure that the waste finds a home in the proper place and keeps it out of the roadways and the waterways in the area. So not only does it help us maintain healthy watersheds, it also ensures that we're creating a clean and safe environment for our local communities. The waste banks continue to grow. We're adding more and more with each passing year. And it's a great opportunity where local community members can bring their waste, it's weighed, and they're given an incentive to bring in their waste. And then we know that the waste is actually going to the right place and has a chance for reuse in a second life to be recycled. The next slide highlights our progress that's been reported to date in our 2022 sustainability report. You can see again that we're making some nice progress, and we have a lot more initiatives in the works to drive those targets up in the upcoming year. However, to date, we're at 67% positive water impact, with a goal to reach 100% water balance by 2030. And then again, you'll see here that 32% renewable energy target that we hit by the end of 2022, which will increase by 2025 to 100%. We're working on our CO2 emission reduction, and in addition, we're also 98% in waste in production is recycled, so that speaks to our commitment to circularity. Same as our 75% glass bottles, kegs, and crates that are being returned and reused. These remain key priorities throughout the business, and we work amongst the different teams to ensure that this continues against the roadmap that we've set forward for each of the different initiatives. On the social front, pleased to share that we are at 100% equal pay and fair wages. Social, of course, is not just about the community impact we make in the areas in which we operate, but it's also about creating a fair and safe environment for our own employees as well. We also have 60% gender diversity in our board of directors. 0 fatal accidents in 2022, and the 75,000 waste bank community members that we have speaks a bit to the example I previously gave with Wihasta. We run these waste bank projects in different areas throughout the country. And last but certainly not least, responsible consumption is something that is close to us here at Multi Bintang. We have engaged in several initiatives in the past year to make sure that we're reaching the right target consumer to share the message of responsible consumption. We've done this through a variety of ways, including partnerships that actually bust myths that people might have about alcohol and alcohol consumption. And then we also make sure that every year we spend at least a minimum of 10% of our marketing spend on responsible consumption messaging. You'll see that in 2022, we're pleased to have overachieved on that target as well. Last but not least, to hit on this slide, we do have our NAB alcoholic or NAB non-alcoholic beverage portfolio, which continues to also be an alternative to give consumers a choice when selecting their beverage for the evening. And with that said, I will pass it over to Renee, who's going to talk a bit now about what we're doing from our people agenda. Renee?
Thank you, Dana. So, of course, the people are at the heart of our business, of any business, and we continue to invest in our people and also in the culture that we want to create in our company here, which is a mixture, of course, of global multinational Heineken culture, which is very people-oriented, but also with a touch, of course, of the local culture of Indonesia. We are, of course, like many other businesses, trying to develop high performance teams, and but also a lot of inclusive practices. So we are doing a lot of initiatives that promote inclusive practices in our teams, and at the same time they drive a continuous career planning conversation. It's super important, especially in a company such big as Heineken, with a lot of opportunities that we have, that we have the conversations with our teams in terms of what the potential is, what their desires are there for their careers, and how we can help them achieve those dreams as well. And we're super happy to see that we have a lot of people from Indonesia that we send to assignments abroad. So we have people in many countries in Asia Pacific. Jessica is one example of that you can see. She was already in Cambodia, she was in Singapore, but she was also in Amsterdam, our headquarters, with the Heineken brand global team. So we continue to provide these opportunities for our people because they are the next generation of leaders in terms of this business in Indonesia. And at the same time, of course, is investment in the capability and but also well-being. So we have a lot of trainings, initiatives across the organization. We identify specific functional capabilities, but also leadership capabilities that we want our future leaders to have and our teams to have. And we also do it in many different ways. And we also allow the people to give ideas in terms of how we do this. So one example that you see here in the slide is a capability series that we call Hack That Matters, which is presented by their own teams. You know, it's not nobody external or nobody very senior in the organization, but by teams that they say, hey, I know how to do this, and let me share with the rest of the organization how we do it. From things like how to say no in conversations, or how to have a difficult conversation with colleagues, etc. And also, as all businesses, and our business is no different to that, going through a lot of transformation in different functions, we facilitate a lot of change management workshops. It's super important that people understand why the change is happening and why are we doing the things that we're doing. So we provide a lot of training, a lot of workshops on this to make sure that there is acceptance to the change and there is understanding why the changes are happening. So then everybody's on board and we can achieve our objectives in an easier way and a faster way, of course. So we continue to invest a lot in our people. We have a lot of different programs in terms of trainings. We have local trainings, we have regional trainings, we have global trainings from Heineken. We have projects, trainings for senior managers, like the Heineken management course that is in Switzerland, done by the IMD, Jessica again is also one that has been gone this year to that course. Just went to Lausanne for that course, but not only her. So we have more people. We have the WIN program, which is for it's called Women Interactive Network. It's only for future women leaders as well, and we have sent 2 people in our organization as well to the IMD in Lausanne that provides that course. Is not only, but the good thing is that it's not course that is only you go there for a week and come back and it's like you forget about it the week later. It's a course that lasts for over a year with different interactions, with team initiatives that they need to do and tasks, etc., with a lot of progress, coaching, personal coaching, tripartite calls. So we invest in a lot, and Heineken invests a lot in the people and making sure that we prepare the future generation of leaders. So with that, I think that was the last slide, right? So thank you very much for your attention to this presentation. Of course, it's a short one that we can do with a lot of time to give you a little bit of a review of our business this year.